Guys, I am beyond excited. I had a friend who was at the premiere event for the cinematic and launch date for Warlords of Draenor. Of course, he got a beta key, but he took kindness upon my poor, desperate, bottom-of-the-barrel YouTube video-making soul, and he gave me his beta key. So, I'm pretty excited to bring to you some Warlords of Draenor beta content. Obviously this isn't a massive channel, but I'm hoping to cover maybe some things that you won't necessarily see in your typical channels. Obviously some gameplay and things like that will be covered because it's too much fun not to, testing around other classes, but I want to take a look at some of the other side of things from the beta. As you can see, I've already got some characters made over here. Some have been logged into, some have not. Mostly been messing around with the warrior for starters, because of course as a warrior player I am most curious about what they are doing to my class. But I'm hoping to bring some content to the channel for the rest of these classes as well. As you can see right off the bat, these new race models look amazing, and I know most of us have seen coverage of this already through some of the other YouTube channels that we might follow, or streamers we might look at, things like that, or even just pictures we've seen. But guys, these things look absolutely gorgeous in person, like actually on your monitor, on your computer, not third party, you know, looking at someone else's view, but like just up front on your monitor. These things look amazing, such a night and day difference. Tarn especially look fantastic. The orcs look amazing. Not all of the skins have been added in. So far we're missing human male, trolls, there is no night elf male. There was one more that I can't seem to remember. Oh, no Tauren female as well. Tauren female has not been updated yet, but everything else that we can be expecting is in, which is pretty cool. Now, something that I think is worth mentioning briefly is actually in the menus. If you'll go over to your menu section, what you can expect, I was just kind of checking, of course, to see what was changed, if anything changed at all. I wanted to turn my settings up to enjoy just the new character models and environments and everything to its fullest. And then I noticed something very interesting. In the graphics tab, you'll notice there is a raid and battleground settings here. What they've added here into this interface, or into your system settings, is actually the ability to activate a secondary settings system, almost like a secondary spec, I suppose you could look at it as. And you can have readjusted custom settings for your computer, for your game, if you're planning on raiding or battlegrounds. Because I know a lot of times when you start getting a lot of stuff on screen and a lot of things start going down, it tends to slow a lot of people's computers down. And so Blizzard, knowing that they're obviously upping the graphics, and so this is going to be a little bit more demanding on systems than World of Warcraft has ever been before. I know that's been a major concern with a lot of people for this game, is Blizzard, you are making our characters look new and fabulous, and that's awesome. Unless you hate it, then you're saying, Blizzard, that's not awesome. But for the rest of us, Blizzard, that's awesome. You're updating our character models. But what about those of us who have low-end machines? That was always the biggest perk of World of Warcraft. It ran really well on low-end machines, and so obviously this could be a problem. Well, I feel like this is their answer to that. You can have, obviously, not just your base settings down, but if you want to enjoy the game to its fullest graphical potential, when you're kind of standing around hanging out, but the moment you go into a raid or a battleground, your frame rate drops, you start getting really choppy, this is your answer. You can have customizable settings here in between the two of them. I don't know if you'll be able to access these in game. I don't see why you wouldn't, because you do have access to this in game as well. But that is that, and I thought that was really cool. Now, some other cool things I wanted to take a look at real quick. There is the What's New tab in here, so it kind of goes over and you can look at the idea of what's new. And I'm sure this will get updated as it actually gets implemented into the game. Now, let's check this. System. So it looks like you have access to this in your in-game settings, which is kind of cool. Again, it wouldn't make sense if you couldn't have access to that actually in game if you had to log out every time you wanted to do it. Keybinds. Your keybinds interface is very different. As you can see, they've got this all laid out very systematically here, so you can go exactly where you want. Your movement keys, all right here. Chat keys, all right there. Action bar. Your secondary or multiple action bars, so you're talking these ones over here, these ones over here, those ones. And even, I believe, so your special action bar is still under regular one. Targeting. So it's all categorized very nicely, very easy to get to, so there's no more searching and scrolling through all of your keybinds to try to find exactly what you want. This change I like a lot. As a player who has been playing this game for 9-10 years now, finding the keybinds that you're looking for isn't so much of an issue, but again, for a new player, for someone who's getting in to the game for the first time, this is very nice, very streamlined, very effective, efficient, short, sweet, to the point. And I'm a fan of just cutting my time in half. If I can find my action bars and my keybinds, a lot quicker, then I'm all for that. And you still assign them and unassign them the same way. Macros are still the same. Looks like we got more macro slots there, which is kind of cool. Some things that have changed over here. Now you're looking at, again, controls still the same. Typical stuff, block trades, sticky targeting, combat stuff, usuals. Show spell alerts. Still have loss of control alerts all around there. Cast bars, you can show all that. Focus cast key, all that good stuff. Display, same old, same old. Outline mode, which is really cool. This is probably one of my favorite new little features in Warlords of Draenor. It's simple, but it's just so neat, I think. As you can see, again, most of you have probably seen this already just with other streamers and YouTubers, but it's worth talking about just in case. In live right now, again, none of this happens. This is all brand new to Warlords of Draenor, but if you'll see as I mouse over the training dummy, it highlights yellow because it's a neutral target, as in I can attack it. It's neither friendly nor enemy, but it can be attacked. Friendlies highlight blue. And of course, I'm assuming enemies would highlight red and NPCs highlight green. I think this is super awesome. If you scroll over or mouse over something that you didn't really know is there, you're looking for something, you can see it highlighted right there. It's kind of cool even for, like, say, YouTubing or streaming purposes. If you're trying to point to someone or something, you can just put your mouse over and see, look at the bright yellow highlighted thing I am currently mousing over. It's kind of cool. And when you actually click on it, it pops out a little bit more, it's a little more vibrant. As you just hover over it, it stays kind of dim, but if you click on it, it gets bright. I think that's kind of a cool feature, personally. Again, show free bag space. So more of the usual things. Show aggro percentages, all these objectives, socials. So typical stuff there. Action bars. This is cool. One of the new things they've added, Blizzard is always notorious for taking add-ons that most people use and just implementing it into the game. And so we see now Omni CC has been basically integrated into World of Warcraft. We now have a checkbox to turn on the numbers and cooldowns for your skills right off the bat. So as you can see here, we'll go over here and we will attack this target. And if you can see, even debuffs, there are debuffs. It puts the numbers on those debuffs. Quite easy to see, puts them on our action bars. Quite nice, I think. I am a big fan of this. Again, I'm always a fan of just seeing things get streamlined and made to be a little bit more simpler for the player base. I think it's awesome. So good on you, Blizzard. Not that you're ever going to see this video. Get more stuff in the same names, stacking nameplates, floating combat text. As far as I've seen, everything still looks the same in here. Status text, same thing. Raid profiles, again, giving us more options and stuff like that for all of that. Still the ability to consolidate buffs over in the corner if you want. Battle.net stuff. This is kind of cool too. You look in the options, allow you to change the types of Battle.net messages you receive. Online friends. So it tells you, like, if you're tired of seeing spam of when your friends go online or offline, you can click these and adjust that if you want. Allows you to broadcast updates and things like that. This allows you to display a message when you receive, and again, so just allowing you to toggle all that stuff on and off typically so your chat doesn't get cluttered with it. It's kind of cool. And of course, the conversation notifications. So pretty cool, I think. Oh, let's turn my camera distance up. Mouse stuff still the same stuff. So a lot of the interface changes I really like. Even with bags, if you go over here to your bags, for example, you can click ignore this bag, and you can assign your bags to being specific to loot types. Again, brilliant, love it. Equipment, consumables, trade goods, you can get it all set up right over there to where whenever you loot new things and such of that, it'll go right over here to this other bag. Blizzard, you're a genius. I love you. Thank you for implementing this. The only thing I have to say is, why was this not in the game sooner? It's okay, we'll forgive you. Better late than never. Some other stuff that's really interesting and kind of neat as well, as they've got your PvP brackets all broken down. It's kind of what you're looking for. Casual stuff, just random battlegrounds. Skirmishes, we've been asking for these to come back since Wrath of the Lich King, and Blizzard finally answered. They said, sure, but you complained about it so much, you better use them or we're going to be severely disappointed in you. Which I don't blame them. But this basically allows you to go into a 2 vs 2 or 3 vs 3 skirmish. It's not rated. Good for practice, testing out comps, getting used to a new class. It's basically for fun. As far as I know, you can queue in with friends, or you can queue in randomly. So you can join a battle like this, or you can join as a group. So if you just want to look at a little practice with a new class, you can do that. If you want to go in with friends to practice, you can do that. I just think this is cool. Again, sometimes you want to do 2s with a friend, but you're really like where your rating is at, or vice versa, or again, your 3s. You don't want to mess with your 3s rating. But you want to do 3s. Skirmishes are your answer, and again, I think it's awesome. Just giving more options for PvP, and I think that's great. And again, for rated, we have the usual 10v10, 2v2, 3v3, 5 vs 5. War games, basically the same thing as casuals with the skirmishes, except you just challenge people to battlegrounds and things like that. So pretty cool. And then pre-made groups, you can check all this out as well. If you're going for pre-made stuff, then this is for you. Again, huge fan of all of that. And it's all under one interface now, which is really cool. You have all your challenge mode stuff right here. As you can see, they have more challenge mode dungeons coming. You have your PvE stuff over here, dungeon finder scenarios, raids, and pre-made groups, player versus player, all under one group. So H and I toggle the same one essentially, or same tab, which is kind of cool. So just making it a lot easier and more accessible, a little more streamlined to go ahead and get into. So that's kind of my intro into Warlords of Draenor. Just right off the bat, I wanted to look at some of that interface stuff. I think it's cool. Definitely planning on bringing some gameplay as I get into the PvP of it, testing it out, seeing if I like what they're doing with my beloved warrior. Testing other classes as well, trying to get a feel for what I think I want to play come Warlords of Draenor. I am very much looking forward to this. Oh, these are cool too. Stormwind Guards, their armor got an update. Pretty dope. I think it looks awesome. Maybe it's just awesome to me because it's all new and it's just fantastically wonderful, and it's all just so fresh, and it's just a breath of fresh air for this 10-year-old game. I am beyond excited for this expansion. I cannot wait to give it a try. I can't wait for it to go live. I'm looking forward to goofing around on the beta some more. Thank you again so much to Eddie, good sir. You are a godsend. You're a lifesaver, and I love you for it, man. Other than that, I think that's it, and I'm gonna call this video Dunskies. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.